Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from relationship advice. Our first post is by Throwaway. My partner is out of town and I had another man sleepover. My 26F partner, 25M, has been out of town most of the past 3 months for work. We have been dating for almost 2 years. I miss him every day, but for the most part, have gotten used to it because I am a very independent, and also I know this is the best thing for his career. However, last night, I think I really effed up. I went out with a bunch of other PhD students and we got pretty hammered. Some of them wanted to go to a strip and I had never been, so I said sure. The strip club was going to close in 30 minutes, so I figured if I didn't like it, it would be over soon anyways. I ended up having a decent enough time, but I feel very guilty for going to a strip club with men. I am also bisexual, so that adds to the guilt. However, my partner and I had discussed strip clubs before, and we both believe it is not cheating and is not a hard boundary for either of us. I do think he will be surprised to hear that I went to one. After the strip club, one of my best guy friends, 25M in the program, drove me home. We will call him Sam. This is quite typical, as he lives near to me. My partner has met Sam on multiple occasions before and knows that he drives me home a lot and that we are strictly very platonic. We joke around that me and him are like family. When Sam was dropping me off, I offered for him to come in take a hit of my bong, and he said sure. He comes in and takes one of the nastiest hits I've ever seen. I mean, it was hard. He's dying on my couch, so I go bring him water and some cough spray. But it's clear at this point he's way beyond the point he can drive, and I am also way beyond the point of driving. I have a full guest room, so I move him up in there and let him pass out for the night. At this point, it's 4 a.m. I went in my room and closed the door, but immediately started freaking out. I mean, this night started out with a strip club and is ending with another man in my house while my partner is away. The whole situation looks so suspicious, and I know I would be very mad if my partner did this to me with a woman. We had never talked about what happens in this situation and what our boundaries are. Luckily, I noticed that one of my friends, 26F, also in the PhD program, that lives a few blocks away, is sending me Instagram reels, so I text her and ask her to come over and stay the night to make it more like a sleepover, so that I was more comfortable. She's an angel, so she did, and it made me feel a lot better. Now it's the morning, and I know when my partner gets home in a few days, I'm going to tell him everything. This all is extremely out of character for me, so I feel like he is going to be shocked. I can't help but feel like I self-sabotaged myself and let my impulsivity hurt my relationship. Edit to add some details. When 26F came over, she had to wake up her boyfriend to drive her cause she doesn't have a car. Her boyfriend is my partner's best friend here and also close with Sam. So if you don't think my 26F friend can vouch for me, his literal best friend here will. I cannot call him right now as he is on a boat in another country. I texted him briefly what happened and told him to call me when he gets a chance and connection. I want to make it clear that I made horrible choices about inviting him in for a bong. RIP. I was inebriated and made a grave error. I wasn't thinking about how the situation was different because he is a man. He truly is just a friend to me, so it didn't occur to me that this situation was too wild until I realized he needed to crash. Once again, I was drunk and therefore lacked some common sense, you know, like we all do when we are drunk. I know no matter what I say, some of y'all will think I'm cheating. Not that it matters, but I genuinely didn't. I genuinely have no romantic feelings for Sam whatsoever. He truly is just a homie and like a brother to me. Update. Just got off the phone with my boyfriend, told him the full story of what I posted here. Unfortunately, for a lot of commenters, he did not break up with me. After 2 years of having a loving, healthy, and communicative relationship, he did not think I cheated, nor did he want to end our relationship over this mistake. Like I said in the post, last night was very out of character for me. I maybe get drunk 2 to 3 times a year, and 95% of that time I still end up in bed by 1 a.m. That being said, he is not the happiest either. I did cross a boundary of having a man in our house late at night without my partner here. Adding the drugs in the story added salt to the wound for sure. Overall, I do see how having a man over here late at night with no supervision and drugs is a very bad look, and I did not take his feelings into consideration. I was clearly lacking some common sense. As long as this never happens again, we are going to be good. I may be in the metaphorical doghouse for a bit, and he will take some time to be able to heal from this. But overall, we have a lot of love for each other, and will continue to build an amazing life together. I talked to Sam and said that I personally crossed a boundary with my boyfriend and that he will not be able to crash here again. I also said we will have to cool it on our late night adventures for a while, but we can still hang out in our group of friends so long as I Uber or drive myself home. I suspect my boyfriend is not going to be the biggest fan of his, but I don't think anything too bad will come from it. Lastly, I appreciate all of your support. I am also really taking the comments about weed and driving to heart. Thank you all for bringing that to my attention. I will be much more careful from now on. Our next post is by Complete Thought. My niece, who lives several states away, has been posting on social media that she and her infant will soon be homeless. Now she's texting me and hinting that she'd like to live with my family, but we don't want the drama she brings. My niece is in her 30s. She was raised by my parents through childhood because her mother, my sister, was a drug addict. There was a 6-year overlap of me living with my parents and her living there too. She was too young then to remember those years now, but I do. To her, I've always been an uncle who lives several states away and just visits for the holidays. I have my own wife and kids and career and house and a very successful life here. Meanwhile, my sister is dead, my father is dead, and my mother is in a nursing home. My niece is in the process of divorcing her third husband. She has another child, which she put up for adopting a decade ago. I visited her just a few months ago, and she was so happy to have a normal life with a husband and a house and a new baby. She hasn't said why they're breaking up, and I haven't asked because I'm sure it has something to do with her drama. She brings drama with her everywhere she goes. I both pity her, but also don't want to get involved. So now she's hinting to me that she wants me to invite her and her infant to live with my family while she figures something out. My wife has already rejected the idea, which is fine with me. I don't want that drama in my house either. I'm going to pretend like I'm not picking up the hints, and if she flat out asks, then I'll say no. I'm slightly worried, though, that may push her over some mental edge if she really does have nowhere else to turn. Our next post is by Layla Orleans. I've just told my wife who scares me I want a divorce. I'm not sure how I let it get this bad. I, 40M, just told my wife, 43F, this week that I want a divorce and I am buzzing with pride and happiness. We've been together 12 years and have 2 small boys, 6 and 2. When we met, all went well. We had jobs in the same industry, we traveled a lot. But very quickly, it became clear that my wife doesn't have any tolerance or even understanding for things that are not done the way she would do them. She idealizes her childhood and is very close to her mother and sister. Admittedly, she grew up in a very close, large family and had a pretty great childhood. But as an adult, this has morphed into a fanaticism with things being done normally. To her, normally means the way she would do them, or how her mother did them. Ironically, her mom is super chill and not at all like that. Over the years, this annoyed me, but it became way worse once our children were born. Everything had to be as she wanted in the house. I couldn't choose how to dress the kids because I didn't pick the right blend of colors. If I put on a diaper, it was redone. If I packed lunch and snacks for school, she would change the snacks to the ones she wanted. That was still the short end of the wedge. The major issue is I wake up early in the morning, 5:30 a.m. I always have, and I love it. I also do fine at night on little sleep, whereas my wife is a demon if she doesn't get 8 hours. That means that I take care of 99% of kids waking up at night. I do 99% of morning prep, lunch boxes, breakfast, getting dressed, for which she chooses the clothes the night before. I always take the kids to school. Another reason I do this early is that if I do it when she's awake, I get criticized for using the wrong spoon to serve the food, or using the wrong milk for oatmeal, or not cleaning up every tiny spill the second it happens, or using the wrong dish rag, etc. Every criticism is exasperated and aggressive. She's right on some of them, but it's a constant barrage. I tune her out. I've even been told going to the bathroom is a problem because they feel me being awake. The issue is that our oldest loves to wake up early to be with me. It's a really cool time for us. We have breakfast, we watch the news, we talk about nerdy stuff. But she won't have it. She insists he has to stay in bed until 6:30. I wouldn't mind, but it's torture for the kid. He hates it. He cries and moans and whines and just wants to be up and about. I am exactly the same. Now that our second is doing the same, she has begun blowing up at me aggressively. The other day, she woke up at 6 and accused me of just putting them in front of the TV in the morning, and that our eldest is short because he doesn't sleep enough. They get 1 hour of TV during holidays, and I come up with the vast majority of outing ideas. He's quite short for his age group, but nothing out of the ordinary. And I finally snapped. As I was getting yelled at again, in front of both my kids, I just said enough. I calmly said I wanted a divorce and that she would never speak to me like that again. We are away from home until next week, but I already contacted a lawyer. I am so happy. It will suck in the short term and then be such a relief. I can't wait to have my own place and the kids on my own half the time. Her response: so this happened while we were on holiday at her family's in Portugal. Because we're here and she's surrounded by her people, she hasn't blown up yet. She's been distant. We are sleeping in different rooms, but nothing major. When we go home next week and she realizes I'm committed to what I'm doing, oh boy, it's gonna Krakatoa for sure. Prior discussions and counseling. A lot of people are asking about this. I did try and confront her about her behavior. I tried calmly when I was feeling good to explain to her how I felt. She literally told me, "My issues are more important than yours." I tried angrily. When I had enough, it turned out into a war of words. I tried sadly when I was at my wit's end. She didn't care. Therapy. We went to therapy a few times together, and each wrote a list of things for the other to work on. She wanted me to learn to cook and work out. I now do 70% of the cooking since 2 years, and I play paddle 3 to 4 times a week. I asked her to learn to compromise and tidy the house more. None of that ever happened. She always said she had no time to tidy because of job and 2 kids. Funny how I found the time. I also went to therapy alone and worked a lot on building up my confidence, standing up for myself and setting boundaries. Dark Silver writes in the comments below, "Am sorry OP. Let me tell you, as someone who came from a dysfunctional family with a mother that berated my dad for more than 30 years, I wished my parents had divorced sooner. It's better to have 2 separate parents but with good co-parenting skills than 2 together and living a hell on earth. I walked on eggshells with my mother, and soon enough my brother became the same narcissistic image of her." Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.